Fluent English isn't a dream, it's a skill. Subscribe now to Advanced English Podcast and make it yours.
Have you ever had that feeling, that frustration where the English words are right there in your head, you get the grammar, but then, when you try to speak, you just get stuck.
Yeah, like your voice just freezes up.
Exactly. Or maybe you feel suddenly shy, or the thoughts just tangle up before they come out. It's not just blanking for a second. It feels like a real wall sometimes, right? Between you and feeling fluent, feeling confident.
A very common barrier.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that, our mission, to give you a practical, kind of actionable shortcut based on what we found to finally get past it.
That's right. Today's deep dive is all about unlocking that natural flow, that real confidence when you speak English. We've looked through quite a bit of material, articles, studies, real-world examples.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah, lots. And we've pulled out 3 steps, not just any tips, but 3 really powerful steps backed by evidence. And these are things that can genuinely shift how you speak. Our goal for you listening is that you walk away knowing not just what to do, but understanding why it works, how it changes things for your brain and your mouth, to help you sound confident, natural, fluent.
And importantly, we're not going back to like dusty old grammar books here.
A grammar drill.
No, this deep dive is about things you can do every day. Practical stuff. We're focusing on the core shifts, cognitive and physical, that actually make a difference.
Right.
These are insights for anyone who's ready to move past just knowing English and really wants to see quick, real results in their speaking.
So let's dig in. What are our sources telling us?
Okay.
So let's unpack this first one, because it tackles a habit, an ingrained habit, really, that slows a lot of us down without us even realizing it.
Right. The translation trap.
Exactly. The idea is think directly in English, even if it's just small, simple sentences to start. Now, we hear this advice, but what the sources really emphasize is why skipping that internal translation is so important.
Because many people, their default is, form the thought in their native language.
Yeah.
Then mentally translate it word by word into English, then try to say it. It's like this extra step.
A huge extra step. It's like adding a whole unnecessary processing layer.
So what's really going on there? Why is that such a bottleneck?
That's a great question. And a key thing from our sources is this idea of cognitive load.
Okay.
When you translate, your brain is basically doing double the work. It's finding the meaning in one language, searching for the match in English, and trying to structure the English sentence correctly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The research suggests this translation buffer can eat up like 30% more brain power.
30%.
Which explains why it feels slow, why you might hesitate or feel stuck. So the power isn't just think in English. It's starting small to build those direct connections in your brain. Don't wait for perfect, complex sentences.
Right. Start simple.
Exactly. Yeah. Take the example from the material. Instead of thinking, say, mujhe pani chahiye if you speak Hindi.
Right.
And then translating that to I need water, you train your brain to just jump straight to I need water.
Direct thought to English.
Direct thought to English. And the sources suggest a really practical way to start this. Just throughout your day, narrate what you see or what you want in tiny English sentences. Like you see your coffee cup. Think a cup.
Simple.
Feeling thirsty. I'm thirsty. Someone walks past. He is walking. It sounds almost too simple, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit.
But what you're doing is actively weakening those old translation habits and strengthening the direct English pathways. It's like brain training, really.
Right.
Pruning the old paths, paving the new ones in your prefrontal cortex. The shift it creates neurologically is actually pretty profound, building efficiency.
That's where it gets really interesting, isn't it? It's not just about speaking faster. It's about cutting down that mental effort, that anxiety maybe, that comes with trying to speak.
Exactly. Less fatigue, less stress.
So the more you consciously do this, just think these little direct English thoughts, the better those neural pathways get. The sources compare it to like building new highways in your brain instead of using some old winding dirt track.
That's a great analogy.
At first, yeah, it takes a bit of effort. You have to consciously think for a second. But every time you do it, that path gets clearer, faster.
It becomes more automatic.
Which means your English just starts to, flow more naturally.
Yeah.
Without that internal pause or stammer, because your brain isn't working overtime translating everything, it actually changes how your brain handles the language. That feels like a huge step.
It really is a foundational shift.
Okay, so you're starting to think directly in English, even small thoughts. What's next? Because our research clearly shows fluency isn't just about thinking, right? It's not passive.
Not at all.
It needs action. And I bet a lot of listeners are thinking, okay, but I still feel awkward saying things out loud. What if I mess up? What if I sound silly? How do the sources help us bridge that gap from thinking it to actually confidently saying it?
You've definitely hit on the core challenge there, and the sources are quite clear on this. The big emphasis is on activating your voice.
Activating the voice, okay.
You just can't get truly fluent by only reading or listening or even thinking it inside your head. You have to use the actual physical parts of speech.
Right, the muscle.
It's physiological. It's physical as much as it's mental. And there's a practical method mentioned again and again in the material. It's a simple daily thing. Stand in front of a mirror. Pick any topic. Seriously, anything. What you ate for lunch,
Your cat.
your plans for tonight, something in the news, and just talk out loud for 1 minute. The main thing is just to speak, to hear your own voice using English, even if it feels a bit weird or clunky at first.
To get the sound out.
Just get the sound out. And about that fear of mistakes you brought up,
Yeah.
the sources are really strong on this. Mistakes are not failures. They're actually essential feedback for your brain.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
They're proof that you're trying, engaging, learning. And the physical benefit here is huge. The more you actually speak, the more your tongue, your jaw, your vocal cord, all those muscles,
Yeah.
they get physically used to making English sounds, forming English sentences. The research shows this isn't just getting comfortable. You're literally forming motor programs in your brain, in the cerebellum, basically automating the movements needed for speech.
Like muscle memory for talking.
Exactly like muscle memory. Think of a guitarist practicing scales. At first, it's clumsy, takes concentration.
Right.
But with practice, the fingers just know where to go. It becomes automatic. Same with your mouth and brain for English. This muscle memory frees up your thinking brain to focus on what you want to say, not how to physically say it.
That's such a key point, moving from just knowing it in your head to actually doing it with your mouth.
Yeah.
And understanding why that practice helps.
Yes.
So it's not just about words, it's building bravery almost, and building the physical skill together.
Courage and competence hand in hand.
So every time you stand there, talking to the mirror for that minute, you're basically telling your brain, hey, it's okay, we can make these sounds, we can try this.
It's systematic desensitization, as the sources put it.
Right, making it less scary bit by bit, and helping your brain and mouth connect better, work together more smoothly. So English stops being this abstract thing in your head and becomes something you physically do.
Precisely. It bridges that gap we talked about, making the whole process feel less intimidating and, over time, much more natural.
Okay, now for the third step. And this is where I think it gets really fascinating. Because it's not just about getting the words out correctly, is it?
No, there's another layer.
It's about sounding.
Yeah.
Well, authentic.
Yeah.
Sounding natural. Like textbook English is one thing, but real conversations, they have this rhythm, this tone.
The music of it.
Yeah, the music, the way native speakers actually sound, it's a different ballgame. So our sources point to a way to capture that, to sound like you're really in the conversation, not just reciting lines. What's the core idea here? How is it different from just practicing pronunciation?
That's a great distinction. And a key insight from our sources is that real fluency, sounding natural, isn't just what words you use, it's very much about how you say them.
Okay.
Native English has this. Well, you called it music. The technical term is prosody. It carries meaning, emotion, emphasis. It's not flat. And you don't always learn this from books.
Right.
So the method highlighted in the research is super practical. You immerse yourself in real English, watch movies, YouTube, listen to podcasts.
Things you probably do anyway.
Exactly. But you do it actively, you listen, you pause, and then you repeat the exact line you just heard. But here's the key. You copy everything. The tone, the rhythm, where the stress falls. You're not just saying the words, you're trying to capture the whole sound package.
That's mimicking, basically.
Mimicking, but very specifically focusing on the sound, not just the words. Let's use that example from the material again. How's it going?
Okay.
You hear someone say that. You don't repeat it slowly, clearly. How is it? Has it going?
Right. Nobody talks like that.
No. You copy the actual rhythm, maybe that little lift at the end, how the words kind of blend. How's it going?
Right. More compressed.
Exactly. And the research shows that mimicking these features, the rhythm, the intonation, doesn't just make you sound more fluent, it can actually make you easier to understand. Like up to 20% easier compared to just grammatically correct flat speech.
Wow. 20%. That's significant.
It is, because this goes way beyond just learning words or even how to pronounce single sounds correctly. It teaches you how English actually sounds when people are just talking naturally, how questions go up, statements tend to go down, how emotion changes the tune. Understanding that is critical for real confidence. You start sounding like you belong in the conversation, not like you're reading from a script. You learn the unspoken rules. That's the game changer.
And that's often where people have those aha moments, right?
Totally.
Suddenly you realize, oh, that's how they say it. It's not just the words. It's the delivery that makes it sound natural and confident.
Yes.
So this technique, straight from the sources, helps you internalize those subtle cues, the stress patterns in a sentence, the overall flow that makes speech sound easy, engaging. It takes you from just putting words together to actually communicating naturally. Your English sounds less like a translation and more like you.
Exactly. Authentic expression.
Okay, brilliant. Let's just quickly recap these 3 big steps we've unpacked, because doing them daily seems like it could really make a huge difference.
Yeah, they build on each other.
Right. So first, consciously practice thinking directly in small English sentences. Cut out the translation step to build speed and reduce that mental load.
Step 1, think direct.
Second, you absolutely have to speak out loud. Use that mirror. Talk for a minute. Build the physical muscle memory. Get comfortable making the sounds.
Step 2, speak out loud, get physical.
And third, for that authenticity, actively copy real-life English. Listen to native speakers, pause, and mimic everything, the tone, the rhythm, the music, not just the words.
Step 3, copy the music, sound natural.
Perfect.
And the big message, really, across all the sources we looked at, is that fluency isn't magic. It's not something you're born with or without.
Right.
It's the direct result of doing the work.
Yeah.
Consistent, focused practice, having the courage to actually use your voice, and taking these specific kinds of daily steps. The brain science stuff we saw, the neuroplasticity studies, they confirm that even just 10 dedicated minutes a day on these kinds of practices makes lasting changes. It's actually more effective than trying to cram for hours sometimes, because it leverages how the brain learns best little bits consistently.
10 minutes a day, that feels achievable?
Totally achievable. And that focused effort, it leads to noticeable gains in confidence, often within just a few months. It's about those small, smart efforts adding up over time, changing the foundations.
So if you listening integrate these steps, even for that short time each day, you really should notice a difference, a big one, in how natural, how confident, how just easy your English sounds. You're not just learning things, you're actively reshaping how you speak.
Absolutely. So thinking about these 3 techniques we've discussed, thinking direct, speaking out loud, copying the music, we want to leave you with a final thought to mull over.
Okay.
What could a simple daily practice plan look like specifically for you, tailored to your life, your goals? How could you realistically weave in maybe just 10 minutes of this kind of focused practice every single day?
Personalize it.
Exactly. Maybe it's 5 minutes of narrating your morning routine in your head, followed by 5 minutes of talking to the mirror. Or maybe using your commute to actively mimic podcast dialogue. Think about how you could combine these methods consistently, because that consistency, that intention, that's what unlocks the confident, natural voice you're aiming for.
Fluent English isn't a dream. It's a skill. Subscribe now to Advance English Podcast and make it yours.